Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Libra June 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance by better being able to, through these readings, hopefully understand what makes you uniquely you. All right, so Libra, I'm going to jump right in here and start by pulling a card for what you're bringing to the month of June. Then we're going to look at what Spirit is asking you really to embrace throughout the month so that you kind of spiritually grow into it. We'll look at a block and a challenge, advice from Spirit as to how to overcome that, and then we'll move into the blessing that wants to come in for you this month. Okay, so right off the bat, Libra, we have the card, it's Nine of Wands. Now, the Nine of Wands can speak to burnout. It can speak also to putting a lot of effort towards something and getting to that point where you need to stop and kind of take a breath, where you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can keep going. Let me just pause for a minute here. And I think for many, and actually that's a little too many cards. I'm going to see if I can get a few less. Actually, how that came out, yeah, okay, I'm gonna actually keep these cards together. The Five of Pentacles with the Nine of Wands, that speaks to feeling, that really speaks to feeling like there has been a lack of support for quite some time for yourself, that you feel like maybe you've been carrying a lot of the burden on yourself, that you've been alone for some time, or that you've had a lack of abundance or a lack of that there is not the energy that you're putting in with the Nine of Wands. It's a lot of work put towards something that somehow there hasn't been as of yet a return on your investment, that there's this feeling of, I'm not making enough money, I'm not getting enough love, I'm not getting that support, that there's something here around that, and you're feeling exhausted. Now, this could be specific to one area of your life. This could be specific to your romantic or personal life. This could be around work. This could be around a project that you've been working on. So we'll dive a little deeper here. Now, what Spirit's asking you really to embrace this month and to move into by the end of the month is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is a time of rest. It's a time where you get to kind of almost meditate and reflect on where your own truth has been hidden for quite some time under the pain of the past, under thoughts, a negative thought pattern that has developed based on either areas where you failed in the past or the hurtful words of people in your life that have, again, kind of sunk in and almost become part of your truth, and yet they were the words of others, meaning someone telling you that you weren't lovable or someone telling you you weren't good at something in your life. And so this is really growing. It's realizing here with the Ten of Wands as the main underlying energy for the month. This is where you get to reflect on a burden you have long carried, that it's time to put it down because there has not been a return on your investment in some capacity. So whether this is looking at, again, where maybe your truth has been long hidden. And when I say your truth, this is where we have that clarity of self, where we have the clarity of who we are. We have the clarity of what we want to experience in our experience based on our perceptions. So this can be where maybe when you go back to the start of wherever you started and whatever this is that feels like a very heavy burden. If you go back to the start of that, and it's funny, as I'm saying that, I'm hearing that Coldplay song. So maybe for some of you, that Coldplay song means something to you. But there is something about that it's almost like going back to the start and seeing something for what it was and what you were hoping it was going to be based on the truth of yourself that you were bringing into that experience. And where now has it gone? Where has it, in the present moment, what has it become? And how now can, through that realization that maybe, again, you've lost yourself in this process, and we can all go through this. I mean, I can definitely share my own experience of getting lost in a relationship that started one way and ended another. And I had to come back from that really trying to find myself. We can get lost in focusing so much on our career and losing ourselves in trying to, work our way up for someone else's company, or in a position that we just are not passionate about. There's all kinds of ways where we can lose ourselves in our experience from where we first started with the Ace of Wands, which is that fresh inspiration, that's the excitement of getting into something new, and where then it can just become something that never really realized what you were hoping it was going to become. And this is that month where you get to put the burden down finally. And you get to have some rest, and you get to repair yourself. This can actually be a sign of healing as well, where you're really sitting there and putting up those 3 swords of the pain of the past, putting them on the wall and saying, I see my truth again, and I'm ready to walk forward into a fresh cycle without those 3 swords piercing me. Okay, now underneath that, for some of you, this really could speak to a relationship, because underneath that, we have a card that's unique to this deck. I look at it as a more romantic version of the traditional Lovers card in the tarot. Now, the traditional Lovers card speaks to making choices in love. It can speak to romantic love, but it can also speak to just love in general, choosing what we love and how we bring love into our experience. But this specifically speaks to romantic love, to that love where we truly get to surrender ourselves on in a real vulnerable level. And with the 2 of Wands below that, there was a decision made. There was a choice made to take action towards a romantic love or a partnership or something along there. And it has become a heavy burden. It started out again as, okay, I'm making the choice. Here's the 1 wand. And from there, you continued to make choices around this relationship, but it never really realized into something that you wanted. Now, if this isn't about romantic love, because this could just be about where you feel vulnerable, this could be where maybe you made a choice to partner with someone, maybe even in the work environment, or where you decided to become truly vulnerable and kind of lose yourself in the creative cycle of moving into a certain career path. And again, it felt exciting. It felt like that rush that we have when we first meet someone and we love them, but yet again, it may have not realized into something that you've wanted. For some of you, this could be either a relationship you're in now, a romantic relationship, or a very deep work partnership. This could also be something from the past where maybe you haven't realized just how much on an emotional level you've carried the pain of whatever happened here in the past. And it's time now to really reflect on that and to heal and to move forward. So let's go ahead here and see what else wants to come out for you. But you're really being asked this month to start the healing cycle, to start the cycle of reconnection to yourself, and the self that isn't hidden by the pain and the woundings of the past. Instead, it's the part of yourself that really needs to come out and shine brightly again. And I love that. There's that Ace of Wands hiding in there. We'll see what wants to come out for you now, Libra. So first we're going to take a look at the blocks. Then we're going to look at advice from Spirit, and then we'll look at the blessing. So Queen of Pentacles and Temperance. Okay, this is your main block right here. So there's something out of balance in your life with Temperance coming in. Temperance calls us to bring moderation to our life. It also calls us to balance our emotions with our actions. So what can happen at certain points in our life is where we get to this place of kind of that weary, wounded warrior. We're burned out and we just kind of keep taking the next step of action. Like, well, I just have to, I came this far. I just got to keep going. And this can be when we're, let's say, in a long-term relationship with someone and we're like, man, I'm just not feeling it anymore, or this doesn't work for me, but I've committed. And so every day I'm just going to recommit. And what can happen is we lose that connection of we need to have an emotional connection to every action we choose to take. And when we start to lose that emotional connection because we're numbing ourselves, because we don't want to take a look at this isn't emotionally fulfilling to me anymore. This, going every day to this job or working with this professional partner, or coming home and working with my romantic partner, that this is not reaping any benefits for me. And not even only in the physical, but also on the emotional plane. I'm not sitting there feeling anything good from that. And this is a reminder that we have to balance that emotion with action. And the reverse can be said as well, that we can't just feel things and then not choose to take action on those feelings. So if we're feeling bad, we need to start to choose to take action to right that. Or if we're feeling happy, we can choose to take action more in that way. So, this is definitely a month where moderation and balancing of your emotions with where you choose to take action is really being called for here. And, Libra, you are a sign of balance. One of your cards in the tarot is the Justice card, which is the true balancing of the scales. And that is something that comes innately to you. But Temperance is a card of Sagittarius. And we are right now, actually, as I'm filming this, we are about to enter into the Sagittarius full moon, which is a really big kind of, again, an opening portal for us to start to move towards freedom, what truly feels freeing to us, but doing so in a way that brings us uniquely into a place of balance with who we are, what we want to express, and what we want to experience in this lifetime, but not where we feel like we're carrying this heavy burden. Now, with the Queen of Pentacles coming up right before that, this is your main block. The Queen of Pentacles is someone who is the dedicated mother. She's patient. She understands that when she is going to put her time towards growing something, that it may take a long time. And that dedicated focus is going to be someone who commits to the long-term vision, or to the raising of a child, or to the growing of a business. But where this can get to be a block for some of you is maybe where one of two things. Maybe you've been patient. Maybe this has been the energy that you have brought to this cycle, to this relationship, to this partnership, and you have been dedicated, and you have been, very willing to keep putting in the work. And yet, on an internal level, you're not seeing that return on your investment. Instead, you're kind of stuck in the Five of Pentacles here, where you feel left out. You feel like the energy, again, that you're putting in, you're not actually seeing a return on your investment. And I think the main point of this is to really reevaluate, well, are you focusing on continuing to grow something that no longer holds value to you, that no longer, this could be, again, like, let's say this is around a business partnership. This could be something where, you started this wonderful business and you were so passionate about it, and it was going to grow into this amazing whatever. And at a certain point, now you realize, well, we've never turned a profit, or the profits aren't enough. And I don't even feel inspired anymore when I go into my place of work. And that's where Temperance comes in and says, well, now, if you really look at what you're feeling, how can you start to change what this dedicated focus, how can you start to open yourself up to something new, to change? At the heart of your reading, you have the Princess of Cups, which is technically the Page of Cups. This is the energy that Spirit is asking you to really reflect on and embrace this month, to help you overcome this kind of block of, I think, a single-minded focus of working towards something that clearly didn't work out. It didn't bloom into what you were hoping it was going to bloom into. And something just feels now like a very heavy burden that needs to be put down. Because the Princess of Cups, or the Page of Cups, is your inner child. This is the individual who holds their cup, their emotional center, and is just willing to express openly from that place. The Page of Cups is like the happy child who just loves something and they express it to everybody. I was saying in another reading this month that also had this card come up like this, that it's almost like that character from the Christmas movie Elf, where he is just so innocent. He is willing to sit there and tell everybody and share with everybody his happiness, his joys, his pain, his sorrow. And he doesn't stop to think like, well, how are they going to see me? How is this going to affect other people? He just simply, for the joy of him feeling joyful, expresses from that place. Or when he is upset, he expresses from that place. And so there's something here, Libra, around really getting into your emotions. You are an air sign, so you do get stuck in your head a lot. Now, I have Libra prominent in my chart. I am a Libra moon. So I understand kind of that continually, like the overthinking or the trying to see both sides and trying to find the middle point and trying to rationalize yourself away from what your inner child is crying out for, what your inner child yearns to express. Now, with the Four of Wands coming in after that, the Four of Wands is a foundation. Now, this could be a foundation. It could be a marriage foundation. Often this card can represent that. It can also be a card of a foundation of anywhere where you felt passionate about building that foundation, meaning that this is the foundation of your business, where you finally got everything all set up and then you were ready to open your doors and go forward. Or this is that celebrating, this is the actual marriage day where you got everything together, you got everybody out there, you now have a place to move in together. And there is something here around bringing these two things into alignment. The inner innocent version of yourself with taking action towards what you actually want to have as a stable, firm foundation for yourself. Now, at the end here, we have the Seven of Cups and we have the Seven of Pentacles, two cards of review. The sevens speak to us stopping, taking a pause, and really asking ourselves the question, Seven of Cups, is it worth my basically the Seven of Cups, it's going to ask you, is this going to fulfill me? Is this going to make me feel good? You're asking yourself, again, on an emotional level, if I continue to invest in this, does it make me feel happy? Does it make me feel fulfilled? Does it make me feel joyful? Seven of Pentacles. Is it worth my time, energy, and investment to continue to put time and energy towards this? And for many of you, that's going to cause you to go into this deep place of reflection, because most likely for many of you, you're going to realize, no. If you're feeling this way already, if you're feeling like this isn't giving you the return again on your investment, whether it's on an emotional level or even on a physical level, then it's time to really review, how are you going to change something here based on honoring your inner child, basically, and building a foundation from that place and continuing to decide to choose to take action towards this. The bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Wands, which I love for you. That is the card of success. It's the card of being welcomed home. This is the card of the if you can see the weary, wounded warrior here in the Nine of Wands, who's just exhausted. He's got the bandage on his head and he's like, oh, this is coming out into the spotlight as the hero who is coming home, who is celebrated. And I think that there's a feeling here of moving away from the weary, wounded warrior and into the warrior that you actually are, the strong warrior who is going to build a better foundation, who is going to honor their emotions this time, and who is going to really hold that sword of their truth and go out into the world and do battle with that. Not physically, meaning, specific, obviously this is metaphorically, but that is the individual who comes home to be celebrated, is the individual who went out into the great wide world only with their sword of truth, only with knowing who they are and what they're capable of, and are willing to continue to do that, are willing to continue to face the unknown and to face change and to go out there as themselves. And there is something that really strongly is calling here in this reading, Libra, about remembering your personal power, remembering who you are, remembering what you're capable of, and putting down a long held burden from either a past relationship, a poor choice in love, a poor choice in a work relationship, again, or anything that's made you feel that when you put yourself vulnerably into that situation, you did not, with all the effort you took, you did not get a return on your investment there. And it's time, this is that month where it says it's time to make a change. It's time to look at what part of yourself emotionally have you not been honoring, and what part of yourself is it no longer time to invest in? What part of your experience is it time to no longer invest in? With Temperance too, there is this card is the number 14 in the tarot deck. To me, that reduces to the number 5 further in numerology, and it really speaks to freedom through change. And where does that change come from? It comes from, again, bringing your emotions into where and how you choose to take action. Okay. It also speaks to angelic timing as well, divine timing. So we have Temperance again, and we have Two of Swords. Yeah. Clarifying the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, there's this, you've been stuck in a place. So the Two of Swords is a card of Libra. It's actually Moon in Libra, which is interesting. But it is where there is this lack of clarity, the inability to see or move forward or make a decision because we don't know what is more in alignment with our truth, or we just can't see which way to go. And Temperance coming in here is saying it's time to, again, reflect on your own passions, how you choose to take action, and your emotional connection to those. And that's what's going to help you really be able to make that decision. Do I continue to stay and invest my time and energy towards something and continue to carry this energy of the patient mother? Or do I walk away? Is it time to finally just, put it down, put that pentacle down and realize it just didn't come forward. It didn't grow into what I was hoping it was going to grow into. Now, for Temperance, we have the Two of Cups, which is wonderful. It's connecting on an authentic, vulnerable level with others. So this could be actually you maybe speaking to your partner in your life on an open level. If you're in a relationship, this could also just be learning how to connect with others while speaking. The Chariot and the Star, two very powerful cards here. The Chariot, forward momentum. What do you want to move towards? The Star, your dream. That guiding dream in your heart, that feeling that you have, that you know that there's something more for you out there. This is about connecting this with others, whether it's sharing that with others, it's connecting. So if this is around a current relationship, it's being open and honest with the individual in your life to say, this is what I want. I want to have the family. I want to have the kids. I want to have the life of adventure. I want to have the business that's thriving, whatever it is for you. It's time to communicate that to someone, but share it from that intimate, vulnerable level, not from a place where, again, you're worried about how the other person is going to see you or what they're going to say or what they're going to think. It doesn't matter. It's sharing yourself vulnerably, but also sharing yourself with someone who is willing to share on that level with you. So if that is not the person that you are currently with, that might show you now where, if you express truly what you want to move towards and they're like, I'm not on board with that, well, then that right there, that is your deciding factor. But it may also be the reverse. This may be that person says, you know what, you're right, we did get off course. It's time to course correct, get it back in the Chariot, start moving again towards that dream. But either way, you have to honor that it's your cup, it's your feelings, and you really have to share where you want to go. And that's going to take you out of this place of indecision of, do I just continue to invest, or do I finally walk away? So I love it. For the Princess of Cups, the Page of Cups, you have the Page of Wands. Beautiful energy, 2 pages. This is saying get back to your innocent self, Libra. Get back to that child within. The Page of Wands is just picking up, it's putting down all of these wands and just picking up one of them, which is your card of inspiration. It's your card of, or it's your It's your magic wand and just saying, I want to go out there. I'm curious. I just want to see what it feels like to be free and to have fun. Two of Wands. And then making a decision based from that. Choosing a new direction. That's what the Two of Wands says. In the past, you chose one direction. I feel like for many of you, you get a choice now to honor something that maybe didn't go right the first time. You get to choose the other way, or you get to choose to follow it again, but honoring your passion, honoring what you love this time. So for the Four of Wands, we have the Fountain, which I love. The Fountain is unique to this deck. It really speaks to getting to that cosmic place of true creativity where anything is possible, that kind of universal knowledge point. It does speak also to kind of that like wormhole feeling of like going into that cosmic soup and saying, okay, what do I want to create? And as soon as you kind of admit to yourself, I feel like, here, what is it that you want to move towards? It's like all of a sudden, you're probably going to get a surge of creativity. You're probably going to get almost like this, like bloop. Okay, here, let's go back to the start. Again, it's that Coldplay song. There's something weird about that. It's almost like going back to the start and saying, I'm doing it over again this time. And this time it's going to be different. This time I'm going to build that foundation based on what I'm passionate about. This time I'm going to build that foundation with the right people or the right person, or I'm just going to do it now with more of the realization of who I am and what I bring to the table. And after all this past experience, I'm going to come back to this as the fresh version of myself, that innocent version, and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it better. Let's see if anything else wants to come out for that Four of Wands. Yeah, the Devil. The Devil saying, what's holding you back? Really taking a look at the Devil is actually, so the Devil is the number 15 in the tarot. It reduces to the number 6. Now the number 6 in the tarot is the Lover's card. So they do have a purposeful, that is intentional. That the Devil then shows the two people who were originally in the Lover's card as now tied together, that they what had originally been something they loved that brought them together is now something that relationship is now holding both of them back. So there is something here around that whether now this is time, if this isn't a relationship you're in now, that this might be the time to really sit down and get clear as to how the relationship has changed and become toxic, and how now you can refresh that and get a clearer vision of where you want to move through together and how you can change the direction you're moving. Or this can be where you're realizing that the relationship has become toxic and it's time to move away from that and both of you build a new foundation elsewhere. This could be the same if this is professional, that it's time to realize that there's something that, again, you started moving towards what you loved, but it has become something now that is holding you back. So how can you free yourself from that? How can you bring in your own creativity? How can you bring in your own inspiration again into what has long maybe made you feel that you couldn't do that? This is breathing new life into an old foundation. Okay, let's go ahead and see the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. There's that Six of Wands again right here. Success. It's saying, what do you want to feel successful in? Do you feel that level of success here when you reevaluate what you have currently in your physical environment? Is it something you want to continue to invest time and energy in? Same with on an emotional level. If you continue to invest time and energy, does it make you feel emotionally connected? Is it emotionally fulfilling? Does it feel like this is something you want to put out there, to share, to be recognized for? If it's not, then it's time to make that change. And yes, here's the Ace of Cups, a renewal in love, a fresh connection to the self, the spirit, through your emotions, through what you love, through the love of the divine for you. And if you look through the lens of that kind of love, of reconnecting to that innocent version of yourself, of what you love, looking back to your, again, most innocent version of yourself from the past, that child who just was free, who loved what they loved, who wanted to pursue what they pursued, and they weren't held back by something. That's the starting point. That's the opening point of how you can really change this whole cycle here of feeling like a relationship is a burden, feeling like a work partnership is a burden, feeling like every time you put energy towards something that you emotionally are vulnerable in, it doesn't work out. This is saying you can choose a new path. You can choose a new path. You can build a stronger foundation. The wormhole energy says that this might turn over more quickly than you know. It might feel like, oh my gosh, I have to leave this behind. But it says you might be surprised at all of a sudden what comes in for you, when you choose your star, when you openly communicate about what you want to move towards. 2 of coins at the bottom of this deck. That speaks to the day-to-day tasks. This can be just the juggling that we all have to do. But it does speak to also having to make a choice. What do you want to focus your time and energy on? Every day we have many, many, many different opportunities to choose one thing over another. And a lot of times when we actually stop and become very aware, we get to this place of kind of, this internal review, and we can quiet our mind and have a reflective moment a few times throughout the day. And we look and say, how often am I choosing things in my day-to-day tasks that honor myself, that make me feel good, that are building towards what I want to build, that are going to make me feel like I'm getting a return on my investment instead of the reverse. So this can be where maybe we are continually choosing to do things that will make it easier for the other person, and yet we are neglecting our own needs. Or where we are just choosing instead to just mindlessly go through our day-to-day tasks instead of sitting there and saying, I'm going to intentionally do this task. I'm going to intentionally, pick up the vacuum and clean my house, because at this point, that level of control over my environment and seeing the clean house is going to make me feel good. Not because I'm just doing it because I have to. Same thing with going into work. Same thing with, anything that involves, your relationship. Take a look at where you're just doing things to do them versus choosing to prioritize something that truly means something to you. This is a powerful turning point for you, Libra, where you can really, again, get reconnected to your star, forward movement, and at the heart of your reading, making a new choice. Making a choice based on what you love, based on what you emotionally connect to, and building it better and stronger where there is something that isn't holding you back here. Now, what's interesting is that I don't put reversals in my deck, but this card came out upside down, so I will honor it in that. So the card upright is action, which is very similar to the Chariot. This is, you can see the 2 horses here, the black and white. One is, you can look at this as you're getting your head and heart in alignment. You can also look at this as yourself in alignment with spirit, getting to move forward. Number 17 breaks down to the number 8 in numerology, the number of physical abundance, the number of personal empowerment and leadership as well. Now, this came out upside down, and this is the energy for the month. This is going to show you where you have not felt like you've been in that Chariot, where you feel like you have been stuck for quite some time, not making any headway. And that is where you're going to realize wherever you feel stuck, it's because you've been denying your truth. It's because you've been denying something about your experience that is not in alignment with who you are. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull a couple additional cards here. We're going to see what else wants to come out for that. Then I'll pull 2 more cards to get to the end of your reading here. So what does Libra need to know about action? Action in reverse. Whoa, that's a lot. We'll take the 1, 7 of Cups. Yeah, has been a little bit, I think, for some of you, kind of that fog. Here's the 7 of Cups coming in again. I don't know. This is like sitting here saying, I don't know which one to pick. And what if I pick the wrong one? What if I pick the wrong option and it's not fulfilling? What if I pick the option that doesn't make me feel good? It says, come back. It's not about something outside of yourself making you feel good. It's the realization with the Ace of Cups here. You hold the cup of what you love, of your needs, of your dreams. If you bring that openly and honestly into any opportunity out there, then that becomes your cup. You can make it emotionally fulfilling for you as long as you know, as long as you hold your cup and you choose your cup. Meaning you love yourself first. And when you love yourself first, then everything you do comes from that love and you can love it. It's a hard lesson to learn. It seems kind of simple in principle, and it is, but it's also very difficult. It's very hard for us sometimes to really admit to ourselves what we love, what we feel. Knight of Swords, yeah. Knight of Swords is that blunt communication. It's the sharing of a truth. It can be where someone comes in and simply can kind of truth bomb you or love bomb you, It's that an individual says, well, this is what's wrong. This is my perspective. This is my opinion. This is, the truth of the matter. And I think for some of you, there has been this level of fog around, again, is it worth it for me to choose this? Is it worth it for me to continue to invest in this? And it's time now to really, with the Knight of Swords, it says it's time to start to speak on that. It's time to start to say, you know what? I don't think it is, because something has stopped me from taking action. Or it's time now to get on there and say, I see what I want to choose. I see what I want. I see my cup. I see what I love. I see what nourishes me. And it's time to go towards that. It's time for me to make that decision. Because the Knight of Swords can also be the individual here with the Two of Swords who says, finally, I've made my decision. I'm putting down the one sword. I see my sword of truth. And it's time for me to start moving towards this dream again. It's time to go. That's what I'm hearing here. So we have surrender comparisons with other people. I love this. I love this card when it comes out, because so often this is a lot of what we choose to do. We choose to look at other people's lives. We choose to look at what other people feel is right and wrong. And we sit there and say, but yes, everybody else told me I have to stay in this relationship because when you commit to marriage, you commit for life. Or everybody told me that you have to be successful on a certain level with a business, and it's just not making me feel good. It's something along those lines. It says, keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. I love that. Realize your power comes from who you are uniquely, who you are innocently, and the new path you want to take. And it doesn't matter what other people think or how other people live. How do you want to live? What do you want to attract towards you? Where does your power come from? Okay, we're going to pull a final card here. I'll read the little excerpt that comes with it from the book. And then we will end your reading here, Libra. But this is a very powerful month. This is where you get to really make a change. Anytime the Two of Wands comes up in a reading, especially at the heart of your reading, you have that choice. This is that place where you can literally make a choice to honor yourself and change the whole trajectory of your life from this point. Very powerful. Okay, so we have Spiritual Decree, number 41, also breaking down to the number 5. I think it's interesting with how much temperance you got in here at the number 14, and then you have 41. So there's that palindrome coming in, that number 5, the growth through change. All right, so let's see. It says, you have been wondering what will happen next in your life, not realizing how much power you have to decide that for yourself. I love this. Just got goosebumps, guys. It says, what do you wish to have happen next? Are you willing to use your divine birthrights of free will, voice, and empowerment to set the cosmic wheels in motion? If your answer is yes, then it's time to speak your truth to the universe. Decree it, and you shall be it. I love that with the Knight of Swords, because that is communication. That is literally speaking your truth right here. Okay, it says you have been praying for help, asking for a map, and wanting directions. You are wise in the ways of the receptive, responsive approach to life. It is spiritually mature to trust the greater guiding power of the divine to direct your course. And yet, the wishes in your heart are part of how that happens. Divine destiny is not something that just happens to you, but it is something that you co-create as a living spiritual being with free will and divine love beating in your heart. You are being honored for your ability to ask for guidance and wait for signs. You are also being asked to set intention and develop faith in yourself, to trust in what your heart yearns for, what you love so much that you are willing to go through the discomfort of growth to see it come to life. What is that dream in your heart, Libra? And are you ready to make a choice to go out into the world with your sword of truth and become the homecoming hero because you've chosen that for yourself? Decree it and you shall be it. A month of speaking your truth, Libra. All right, I will leave it there. I hope you all have the courage to speak your truth, to realize you have the power to make a dream come true in your life. And if you would like to book your own personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all next month, Libra, in July's Illumination reading. Bye, everyone.